Today I've got a bit of a different video for you. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Lizzie and I'm the creator behind Hive Knits. You can find me here on Ravelry and on Instagram as Hive Knits. Today I've got a bit of a different video for you. I'm going to talk you through how I made my very own knitting project bag. Here she is. So the way I came about being in possession of such a bag, a company called Babylon Leather reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in collaborating with them. I'd not heard much about the company before, but it turns out they have an online business selling kind of DIY hand-sewn leather goods. So essentially they provide a kit which consists of all the leather pieces, the thread and the tools to assemble the item, mainly bags, but also small leather goods like purses, wallets, belts, that kind of thing. I think they even do a couple of hats actually, haven't looked at their website. So yeah, they asked if they could send me a kit, and in return I would kind of produce a video with my opinion of the sewing process and the finished product, which is what we've got now. So for full disclosure, obviously they asked me to create this video and I received the kit for free, which was part of the collaboration agreement. I wasn't told what to say in the video, so this will be an honest review of kind of how I feel about the kit and the process. And I am an affiliate with Babylon Leather, so if you like what you see and you want to make a purchase, if you use the code HIVE5, which will be down below with a link as well, then I get like a very small commission at no extra cost to you. So that's the full transparency chat. Now let's get into how I made the bag. So I received the kit for this bag in end of last year, just before Christmas. The bag I went for, after much deliberation across the website, is called the Large Sack Plait, and I've taken some footage how you can find that bag on the website. I chose the caramel leather colour. There are a few options to choose from, but I felt like a tan leather bag is just a real classic. And I chose like a brown thread to kind of sew so that the thread would match the leather more than being like a contrast detail. I received the kit pretty quickly after I'd kind of clarified a few things about which bag I wanted and kind of the collaboration details. There was a slight hitch in that they sent me the wrong thread colour to start with, so I just had to wait for that to be kind of reposted to me. But once that was sorted, things went without a hitch. Although, as I was starting to film the content for this video, I found out I was pregnant, and that's why I really wasn't feeling very well. So I had to just delay making this content and this bag until I was over the first trimester. But the company were really, really understanding of that. So thank you for that. It was an unexpected hurdle. So why did I choose the sack plait? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Essentially, as soon as they reached out to me, I knew I wanted to use the bag for like a knitting project bag. I've got a lot of random tote bags and organza bags from Wool Warehouse, which are great, but I've started taking my knitting out and about with me a bit more. We live near a lovely park, the weather's getting better, and I just wanted something a bit nicer to take around with me. And I really think that fulfills this brief. As you can see, the bag's kind of got a like carry handle here, which I'll show you more details of obviously when I show you the more in-depth footage. But it also has a shoulder strap, which is super handy, and it just attaches to the bag via these attachments in here, which I hope you can see, which means that you can just unhook it if you don't want the shoulder strap. You can just unhook it. I finished this bag probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I have used it loads. So much so that I've actually managed to scuff the leather on the front, which is a bit annoying. But essentially every Monday and Friday I work from home, and as the weather's been getting nicer, and to keep myself active in pregnancy, I've been walking to the park and doing a bit of my work from a cafe in the park, and I've taken this with me every time, and it's just been fantastic. As you can see, it's quite big. The measurements are hopefully on the website, but I would say it's like, this leather panel is maybe like A4 paper size. And then you can see that it's quite deep as well. So it actually fits quite a lot in it. I will overlay some footage of what I have in here at the minute, but I have a finished sock, a sock whip, the yarn to go with said whips, 2 more balls of sock yarn that I actually bought when I was out and about with the bag the other day, and also a whole other project that's in a tote bag inside to keep it separate. So, and you can see that it's not full. It's great. It has this handy zip as well, so you can keep all your bits and bobs safe, which makes me more comfortable taking it out and about on sort of public transport and things like that, because otherwise there would be quite a big hole at the top for people to nick your things. And it has little studs on the bottom so that you can put the bag down on the ground and it's not going to scratch the leather. So yeah. Oh, also inside it has 2 pockets, which I'm probably going to struggle to show you, so I will take some extra footage. But you insert the pockets, and it's got one on kind of either side of the opening, and they're quite deep. So at the minute I've got tape measure, some scissors in one of them, and a pen, and my little leather needle holder, scissors holder in the other side, which actually matches very, very well. So yeah, it's good for storage. One of the criteria I was looking at when I was choosing kind of like which bag to go with was I wanted some inside pockets, and the company people were very helpful, sending me ideas for bags with pockets. And I just think it's quite, the style is quite minimal, which is quite me. I'm not a particularly fussy person. I like things to be quite plain and simple and understated and elegant. I think it looks quite Scandi and quite chic. Just a very simple front, back, sides, plus minus shoulder strap. The one thing I would just say about my experience with the ordering and the actual kind of product, there was a conversation had about brass embossing. So I asked if you could have kind of initials put onto the bag. I was going to have HK and my little 3 hexagon logo, and I was told, yeah, absolutely you can do. But when it arrived, the embossing doesn't show up very well at all. I've since spoken to them about this, and they said it's probably an issue with the font that was chosen, and they have apologised and explained that probably a different font should have been chosen. I didn't know anything about that, so that wasn't passed on to me that a specific font needed to be chosen to show up in the leather. But I really don't think it's the end of the world. In some lights you can see it, but in some lights you just can't. So that's probably the only negative experience I had, that and the thread being sent that was the wrong colour. But that got replaced really quickly, and I actually got to keep the old thread as well. So if I ever need some white leather sewing thread, I've got it. So yeah, that was kind of my main experience with ordering the kit. The company were very responsive when we're having our chat, and like I said, they're really understanding when I had to kind of delay things because of finding out I was pregnant. So what I'll do now is I'll insert some footage of the footage that I took as I went along. You'll see from the footage that I've taken that basically the kit arrives in pieces. So pieces of leather the thread, and then also all the tools that you would need to make the kit. So in mine there were kind of like some of the hardware, like obviously the strap and the little studs for the bottom and the inside pockets, they were all kind of there and pre-made. And then there were some snips for the thread. There was like a screwdriver because some of the studs for the bottom get kind of screwed in. What else was there? Basically, I didn't need anything other than what was provided in the kit. All the holes for sewing were pre-punched into the leather. So when the pieces of leather arrived, as you'll see, they all had holes around the outside where there is now thread. I'll just show you a bit of the thread detailing close up actually. There we go. Can you see the ghostly HK logo now? So yeah, all those holes were pre-punched, and there is a YouTube video, as far as I'm aware, for every kit. Again, I'll include some footage of what the one for this bag looks like. They're freely available on the Babylon Leather YouTube channel, with kind of step-by-step instructions for each part of the sewing process. So I just followed along, and the good thing about a video tutorial is that you can just rewind and press play again as many times as you need. So that was really helpful. I'm not a sewist. I had no experience with sewing. I don't use sewing machines. I really dislike bits of sewing that come with knitting, weaving in ends, putting on buttons. I always procrastinate and leave it till last. I'm not a sewing kind of gal, but I found it incredibly easy once I'd got the hang of it. Essentially, you use 2 needles at once, which I wasn't expecting, and you sort of form a figure of 8 with your stitches. So you'll come under and up with that one, over and down with that one, and you kind of keep going, if that makes sense. So every stitch that you see on the bag on the front has also got a stitch on the back, and I think that's to reinforce, it's very, very strong. I've taken obviously my knitting, but also my laptop, full bottle of water, cardigans and things to the park, and I have put the bag on my shoulder and thought, gosh, that's really heavy. And it's been absolutely fine. So I've probably done that a good 6 to 8 times now. So I have put it through its paces. So yeah, altogether, the ordering experience, the sewing experience, it was really fun. And I would say if I didn't, but I genuinely really like the finished product. I think it's really chic. I'm really glad that I chose the bag that I went for. Some of the stuff on their website is not my cup of tea, but that's fine. It's quite a broad range of products that they have. And yeah, I have already got so much use out of this. And yeah, so thank you to Babylon Leather for reaching out to me. And you never know, I actually have my eye on a backpack, which for the eagle-eyed amongst you will see I quickly took out of my basket when I demonstrated the process of using my discount code. But I'm thinking it'd be really handy for like a pram bag or a baby bag, nappy bag, when small comes along. So I'm wondering if I can justify treating myself to that. So yes, I will insert the footage of the making process. I think that's it from me. If you have any questions about the process, please leave a comment below. Like I said, you can get, in fact I didn't say, I said I had an affiliate link, but I also have a discount code. There is currently, I think 20% off all of their kits, which is just applied automatically on the website. And then if you use the code HIVE, H-I-V-E 5, HIVE 5, then you get another 5% off as well. And like I said, the small commission goes to me at no extra cost to you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the little montage I'm about to put together of me making the bag. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.